How are we feeling about the new locker room, Duff?
It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. I think the guys are really going to like it. It's pretty amazing what they were able to do. I think the boys are really, really jacked up. I think everyone's jacked up, honestly. Front office, players, fans even. I think everyone's pretty juiced about it. I mean, I know I am.
Dix, you good? Yeah, all good. Okay, couple things. When we go in, no phones. They're going to eventually do a release on this and an earning the acts and stuff. So no phones, no Snapchat or anything like that. It's still not finished, but it's operable for the week, and it's definitely better than Locker Room G. So don't do anything weird. Let's not be in a position where we have to go back to Locker Room G for a learning lesson. Does that make sense? You guys have been great with all this. You guys deserve it. Let's go get out of Locker Room G.
It was hot this week, but believe it or not, we can cool off with some hockey because the Lumberjacks hit the ice today in Muskegon for the first day of training camp with a ton of changes both on and off the ice. But because of that construction, the Jacks opened the season with 9 straight road games, but things will be looking good once they finally return back to Muskegon at the end of October.
Steve Lowe and Peter Herms had reached out to me and asked, hey, do you think we should renovate the arena? Do you think we should renovate the team spaces? And, you know, at that point, we thought it was going to be a $1 million project. Like, oh, hey, we'll just make the locker room nicer and maybe we can just have more options for the players. And obviously that has changed significantly, right? As we started to explore the space and work with our architects and really analyze what the needs of the players were and how does it fit in with the current landscape of junior hockey. It kind of just exploded, and Peter was full steam ahead and ready to just do whatever it took to make sure that we were providing the best atmosphere for our players. We reached out to Spark 43. They started the drawings immediately, put some stuff together. We started interviewing contractors. Triangle immediately stood out as the best. They knew what we were looking for, and they put their best people on the team. Originally kicked off in May of 2024, and it was just full steam ahead. I mean, we're going through the draft, and there are literally hammers swinging inside of the arena. Our team is literally walking through piles of dust on a daily basis, but it's all going to be worth it when it's done. I'm really excited to unveil it to the city of Muskegon.
I'm Cole Caulfield, and I played college hockey.
I'm Adam Fox, and I played college hockey.
I'm Jake Gensel, and I played college hockey.
I'm Cale McCarr, and I played college hockey.
Whether you are a fan or a player, nothing compares to college hockey.
The wait is almost over.
This crowd is ready for hockey.
The world's best players take the ice to compete for their country. International Best on Best Hockey comes to Boston as Bruin stars Brad Marchand of Team Canada and Charlie McAvoy of Team USA compete to see which hockey nation will reign. Canada, Finland, Sweden, USA. The Four Nations Face-Off. Get your tickets today.
Good evening and welcome into the U Show, week number 10. Ezra Gennello along with you. Week 10 in the USHL. Happy early Thanksgiving. 2 days until we get to break into the turkey and the ham. I got to run around all around Muskegon, Michigan and West Michigan down to Grand Rapids Airport, there and back and there and back, and pick up the family coming into town. It's a great time of year, great time to spend some time with the family, and a great time to watch some hockey, and a big game going on tonight. The U.S. Under-18 team up taking on the CHL Under-18 All-Stars. A lot of USHL talent. In fact, tons of USHL talent taking part in that game, wearing the red, white, and blue tonight in just about 30 minutes. But we get to talk about the rest of the stuff going on around the USHL here on the U Show. A new time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 Central. Enough time to get home, sit down, grab a bite, maybe pour a bottle of wine, and tune into your favorite show of the week here on Tuesday nights. Once again, welcome into the U Show. Ezra Gennello along with you. It was an eventful Week 10 in the USHL. Tons and tons of goal scoring. There was a game this week that had 9 goals in one period. That's Sioux City and Madison. And we're going to talk about that game and talk about how the USHL League leaderboards look a little different because of that game. A 7-6 win in favor of the Capitals. But how 9 goals in the first period, and that's not the only game that had lots of goals. We had games that had tons of goal scoring, games that had tons of saves. We had a ton of free hockey too. Lots of overtimes and lots of shootouts this week in the USHL. We had a lot of standout performances. We'll talk about 3 players, a forward, a defenseman, and a goalie that stood out this week. We had a lot of standout plays when we take a look at the USHL top plays of the week. And of course, at the end, we'll take a look forward at Week 11 in the USHL. And starting tonight, if you count this All-Star Top Prospects game going on tonight, you have hockey, USHL hockey, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. 5 straight days of USHL hockey. Break out the turkey, break out the stuffing, and turn on Flow Hockey to catch some USHL action. We cannot wait for the hockey to get started. But let's take a look back at last week in the USHL, Week 10. And the Week 10 scoreboard, it started on Thursday with a win for the Fargo Force in Tri-City. That was a 3-game weekend. We talked about standout performers. Nolan Reed, the USHL forward of the week in that 3-game series. Thursday, 4-3 win for the Force. Friday, a 6-5 overtime win for the Storm. And then Saturday, 5-3 win in regulation for the Force. They took the series 2-1 in that little 3-game set over at the Viero Center in Kearney. Friday and Saturday, 8-game slates, 16 games over the weekend in the USHL. A lot of overtime and shootouts on Friday night. The Gamblers needed overtime to pick up a win over the 17s at USA Hockey Arena, while the Lumberjacks needed a shootout to pick up a 3-2 win over the Stampede at Trinity Health Arena. We mentioned the Storm and the Force, 6-5 for the Storm, while the Rough Riders fell in overtime to the Dubuque Fighting Saints. Those were the extra hockey. That 9-goal first period in Madison at the Bob Suter Legacy 20 Arena, 7-6 in favor of the Capitals. And then on Saturday, it was the Lumberjacks falling in the weekend split against the Stampede, 2-1 in Muskegon. The Gamblers opened things up 6-3 over the NTDP. Fargo picked up the win over the Storm. The Phantoms 4-2 over the Lancers. The Blackhawks, another overtime win. Overtime game. They fell 4-3 to the Lincoln Stars. 4-3 in regulation for Cedar Rapids at home against Chicago, while the Buccaneers stormed Dubuque to pick up a 5-4 win. The Capitals picked up the weekend sweep over top the Musketeers. We talked about our players of the week. Now, normally we'll talk and we'll let you listen to some of the calls, but we'll talk this week on the players of the week. Nolan Reed, 3 games, 3 goals, a natural hat trick, 4 assists, 7 points, plus 3. He was spectacular all weekend long for the Storm in that 3-game set against the Fargo Force. And then it was a good weekend to wear purple. You had a player with the Storm. You had 2 players with the Phantoms. Kazimierz Sobieski in his season debut in the USHL, 4 points on the blue line. Melvin Straw, 2 wins, a 1.50 goals against average, and a .933 save percentage for the netminder. Drafted by the Columbus Blue Jackets, playing his USHL hockey as a member of the Youngstown Phantom. It was a spectacular Week 10 in the USHL, and it's been a spectacular season for the Dubuque Fighting Saints. Hold on, let's pause that. It's not just been a spectacular season, it's been a spectacular career for the Dubuque Fighting Saints in the USHL, who picked up their 500th win in franchise history in Tier 1 junior hockey this weekend. An overtime win over top of the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders. Now, one of my good friends, Josh Starr, he and I climbed the North American Hockey League USHL ladder of development together. My first job out of college in the North American Hockey League with the Northeast Generals in the East Division. Josh, that same year in Philadelphia with the Rebels. The next year after that, we're both here in the USAHL. I'm in Muskegon. Josh is in Dubuque. He had a conversation earlier today. Let's take a listen in. Josh Starr bringing us our Week 10 U-Show interview.
We are joined by Dubuque Fighting Saints head coach Evan Dixon. The Saints currently sitting toward the top of the Eastern Conference, and going to chat a little bit about the season so far and everything going on with the Fighting Saints. Evan, first off, been 20 games now. Team's been in a good spot in the standings. What is your overall feeling about how this team has been playing so far?
I think it's been a little bit up and down. Overall, we've been progressing since the start of the year. We've grown, we've gotten better each week. Obviously, within games, there's ups and downs and momentum swings and shifts, but all in all, I think we're progressing as a group and getting closer to, the brand of hockey that we want to play every night.
Michael Barron, a player that came back from last year, had a really successful rookie season and has really continued that this season. What is it about his game that has led him to this success?
Yeah, he plays the game the right way. He's a smart hockey player. A little bit undersized, but he's a speedy forward that can, read off of pressure and make plays under pressure. He's confident in his ability to make plays, and he's confident with the puck. So he's a guy that wants the puck on his stick in a big moment, and I think that's contributed to the success that he's had, especially in year two, with maybe a little bit more confidence, having had the reps of last year. So it's been a good opportunity for him to grow and maybe have a little bit more of a role on the team this year, and I think he's done a great job with that opportunity.
You mentioned last year a little bit and the learning experience that a lot of the returning players had making that run to the Clark Cup final. What has that impact been with those players that came back and instilling whatever it was that worked last year into this group?
Yeah, that experience pays dividends, right? I think you can't replicate those moments or those situations specifically at this level. So to have, guys returning that have been through that is really important for our young players in terms of them being able to show them the way, show them the standard of, how we need to operate in order to get ourselves back to that position, how we need to treat our day, how we need to work, and how we need to get better every day and have that be our focus. Not necessarily just focused on getting back to a Clark Cup final, but the work and the detail that goes into positioning yourself to get that opportunity. So having the core guys back that we have has been really special, and I think it's contributed to the early success that we've had so far this season.
With this group, the players that weren't here last year came in with a pretty young defense core, and you had some of those returning players, but what kind of growth have you seen from that group so far?
A lot of growth. This is a tough league. It's hard to step in as a younger player, regardless of the position, and have success right away. So we've had a group of younger, inexperienced players at this level come in and face some bumps, whether it be scratch for a game, not playing the minutes they want to play, maybe not being able to play their style of game to the best of their ability with full confidence. But a credit to those kids, they've stuck with it. They've really evolved. They've learned, and they've leaned on some of our returners. And I think all those guys have taken big steps just kind of in the short time that we've been together. And I think that growth is only going to increase even at a faster rate as we move through the next few weeks.
For you guys coming into the last few weeks, playing a lot of your kind of rivalry games, and the emotion gets up there. You named a leadership group earlier this season. Luke Malbuff's the captain, and there's plenty of other help there. You mentioned a lot of the returning players. In those rivalry games, in the big moments in a season. How important is your leadership?
It's very important. I think our leaders drive the environment that we have here. That's an environment of trust where guys can be themselves and perform at their highest level. That's the goal. So the more we can create that environment with those leaders, I think the better we're going to perform as a group. And I think so far our leadership group, our returners have all done a really good job of creating that environment, and it's something that we're priding ourselves on. And I think it's allowed those younger players to step right in and grow at a pretty fast rate. And I think, like I mentioned before, that's going to only increase the more comfortable the guys feel in the room. So the leadership's been excellent, and I'm excited to kind of continue to watch those guys develop into leaders, because a lot of them are first-time captains, even though they're captains now. Maybe they haven't been leaders on their team in the past. So we're all growing together as leaders, and it's a great opportunity for them as well to develop into that role.
Last weekend, the team earned its 500th win all time in the regular season. There's been a lot of great teams in this organization over the last 14 plus seasons. What is it about the organization that has led to that sustained and consistent success?
The people. I think there's been good coaches here. There's been good players, good people in the office, good trainers. Like, it's top to bottom. I think we've got good scouting staff. Like, we've had the right people in place, and I think ultimately it's the people that make the product, right? And I think a lot of people before myself have been here and put time in and built Dubuque into the standard of what it is today. So I think getting that 500th win is a nice recognition to kind of the people before us that set that standard, and it's our job to continue to build on that.
Looking forward to this weekend. It's two of the top teams in the Eastern Conference, the Saints and the Lumberjacks, and it's going to be strong goaltending on both sides, right? The Lumberjacks have not given up many goals, and the Saints added Jan Spunar. The goaltending overall has been really special so far this season. Talk about Jan Spunar and his impact on this team.
Yeah, he's had a huge impact. He's a very calm, steady goaltender that provides a level of reassurance to our group. I think our guys are confident playing in front of him. He's been good in big moments, and he's helped us win hockey games. So that's really all you can ask for from your goaltender, and I think he's provided that very well for us.
All right, that is Evan Dixon, Dubuque Fighting Saints head coach. Thank you.
Welcome back into the U Show. Ezra Gennello along with you. Big thanks not just to Josh, but Coach Dixon for joining the show this week, talking about some big key players, impact players in their lineup. The success in the Dubuque Fighting Saints organization, 500 career regular season wins for the Dubuque Fighting Saints in Tier 1 junior hockey. It's been phenomenal. I think Josh put out a stat. No one has won more games in the USHL since the Fighting Saints joined the league way back when. So a good organization, a good start to the season for them. They're currently tied for first place in the USHL's Eastern Conference. A big weekend for them in Muskegon. They pay a visit to Trinity Health Arena. And before we started the show tonight, we played a portion of the Lumberjacks' most recent Earning the Axe episode. The Lumberjacks every other week push out an episode of their docuseries Earning the Axe, and this most recent one, Season 2, Episode 5, featured the new renovations to Trinity Health Arena. It had new locker rooms, new coaches' offices, team offices, hydrotherapy facilities, a lounge, a whole lot of it. And if you're interested, you should go check it out on the Muskegon Lumberjacks YouTube page. But as we progress every week on the U Show, we'll continue to show more clips from around the USHL from those different docu-series. I know the Lumberjacks, they have one. The Chicago Steel, we got to see a clip of their around the rink or lap around the facility that they do with Calvin Bush, their manager of communications in Geneva at Fox Valley Ice Arena. So we'll get to take a deeper dive, not just on the U Show, but before the U Show, into some of the organizations and take a deep dive into their organization and kind of see the behind the scenes. Pull back the curtains and see how the hockey is being played, what the players are talking about, what the players are doing, and where the wins are coming from. And Matthew McGreevy, the manager of communications or director of communications for the USHL, every week puts out on the USHL website on Monday or Tuesday, USHL weekly notes. And he talks about all the things going on in the USHL. And he talked about the beasts in the East. Now, the USHL's Eastern Conference is very top-heavy in the standings. Fourth place Youngstown is on a 7-game win streak. They joined Madison and Muskegon with their 8-2-0 records in their last 10 games. Of course, Dubuque, they are tied for first in the USHL's Eastern Conference. But it's not just the East, and it's not just the beasts in the East that are playing well. It's the entirety of the USHL. Hockey as a sport features a whole lot of parity and a whole lot of wins from everybody. Whether you're the first place team or the 8th place team in your conference, you're going to pick up wins and you're going to pick up points. And we're seeing that especially this past weekend with a lot of teams picking up points in the standings. We take a look at the USHL standings as of today. 11/26/2024. The Madison Capitals and Dubuque Fighting Saints tied up for first place in the USHL's Eastern Conference. Muskegon in third by just 1 point with 27. Youngstown in fourth with 24. Green Bay, Cedar Rapids, they round out the middle portion. You got to talk about Green Bay when you're talking about those beasts in the East. Cedar Rapids and Chicago, they are tied for the 6th spot in the Eastern Conference. And the NTDP, don't be fooled by that 7 in the points category. They have not played nearly as many games as everybody else in the USHL. They've had a busy IIHF schedule to this point. They've resumed their USHL games. You see that point total climb throughout the season. In the Western side of things, it's the first place Lincoln Stars still atop the Western Conference. Fargo is in second with 27, just 1 point behind, and 1 point behind them right on their heels, the Waterloo Blackhawks. Then a bit of a gap, just 2 points, one game where the Sioux Falls Stampede, they picked up 3 points this weekend on their road trip in Muskegon, while Tri-City and Sioux City round out the middle portion of the Western Conference. And then Des Moines and Omaha, very tight on the heels. Everybody in the league picked up points this weekend. Everybody is tightly compacted. Talk about that parity, not just in the sport of hockey, but in the USHL specifically. It's a lot of parity, a lot of good hockey. Your team can win any given night, and your team can win on Flow Hockey, the official live stream partner of the USHL. Now, we're going to take a quick step aside and hear from our partners. One of them might be Flow Hockey, but when we come back, we'll take a look at the USHL leaderboards. We'll also take a look at the top plays from Week 10, and we'll take a look ahead at Week 11 in the USHL at the upcoming scoreboard presented by Flow Hockey. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on the U Show.
Welcome to the United States Hockey League.
Puck comes back out. Levshunov skating down. Nice move and a goal!
Just spectacular.
That's what an all USHL player does when the lights shine the brightest.
Celebrini, Finley cuts in.
NHLShop.com, the official online store of the National Hockey League, and the world's largest selection of officially licensed NHL fan gear, with unique one-of-a-kind designs by Fanatics, and all the latest styles for every NHL team. Don't miss out. Shop now and get today's special offer. NHLShop.com, a Fanatics experience.
Welcome back into the U Show. Ezra Gennello along with you, Flow Hockey, the National Hockey League, great partners of the USHL. Ben Keevan, Matthew Lansing, two USHL players with the Des Moines Buccaneers and Waterloo Blackhawks. Tonight, they're playing on the NHL Network as part of Team USA in the CHL NTDP All-Star Game. First-year eligible draft players for the 2025 NHL Draft tonight, 7 p.m. Tomorrow night as well, going on up in Canada. I think it's in London and Oshawa. It's going to be a fun game. Two full-time USHL players joining the NTDP, who, of course, is a full-time USHL program as well. But Ben Keevan, who everybody talks about when it comes to the upcoming draft, was featured this week, or will be featured this week, in the USHL Top Plays of the Week, Week 10. A beautiful assist, a little spinorama backhand. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I'm going to send things over not just the top plays in the USHL, some of the top calls in the USHL in Week 10.
Now out to the blue line. Samaki, nice keep. Over to Sikora. Sikora walks on, gives it up. Now back. Sikora hammers a shot. Goal! That's Nick Sikora. His first shot on goal as a Musketeer goes to the back of the net. And Sioux City comes away with a Hard Rock Hotel and Casino power play. Talk about a goal scorer, and we knew that's what he was. He beat him far side with a hammer.
It will be to the stick side of the goaltender, Jack Parsons. Puck cleared back along the point out there. Now Slezak fires into the slot. Save, rebound, goal! Hans Martin picked up the rebound, slid around to the side, popped it home. And the Rough Riders get the lead out to 2-0.
For Nestrasil, just outside the blue line, taken away by Rybakov. 2-0, Rybakov back door, what a save! Are you kidding me? Shika Gadziev across the crease keeps the game alive. There are no words. Zero. Absolutely none. Timeout taken by the Lumberjacks, and I don't think the Stampede can believe what they just saw. Welcome back into the U Show. Top 5 plays of the week. Got to see Nick Sikora score a goal on his new team, the Sioux City Musketeers. We'll talk about the Muskies when it comes to the USHL league leaders for skaters. You also got to see Ben Keevan, a beautiful assist. Hans Martin Uvelbny, a beautiful goal against his former team, the Chicago Steel. You got to see 2 big saves. Now that's Cam Hendrickson and Shika Gadziev. Hendrickson of the Omaha Lancers and Gadziev of the Muskegon Lumberjacks. Now both saves were unbelievable. Hendrickson stretching out, got the paddle across the crease, taking away the backdoor goal. Shika Gadziev, the #1 play of the week, in overtime, 2-on-0 rush, backdoor pass on the rush, spreads out, makes the save, keeps the game alive. The Lumberjacks ended up winning that game in the shootout. Now that's the reason why Shika Gadziev got the #1 play over top of Hendrickson. Overtime, game on the line, and you make that save. I had to just explain. I do know my biases can be shown every once in a while, and that's why we're going to send things to the USHL League leaderboards where we can pump the tires of a lot of different players on a lot of different teams around the USHL. The USHL League leaderboards through 10 weeks. Still a lot of green and yellow at the top of the points category. Giacomo Martino, 25 points. Landon Gunderson, 24. The first and second players in the USHL. The first and second players for the Musketeers. Riker Lee, the USHL's Week 9 Forward of the Week, 23 points in third. Artemi Nizameyev and Carmelo Crandell of the Tri-City Storm in fourth and fifth. And then Jack Picard of the Lincoln Stars in sixth. In the goals category, it's the Fargo Force forward Merrill Stenari in first with 14. Nizameyev in second with 13. Tied up with the Green Bay Gamblers' Will Zellers. Bobby Cowan and Finn Brink of the Madison Capitals, they round out fourth and fifth. Tied for fourth with 11 total goals. 6 players around the USHL have 10 goals this season. In the assist category, back in Sioux City, back with Landon Gunderson, 19. Giacomo Martino tied up with Sam Larillo of the Fargo Force. Sorry, not tied up. Larilla, 16 assists. Martino, 15 assists. Crandell with 14, Picard with 14, and 3 players around the league with 13 assists this season. Now, plus minus. Big category. Some people don't like it. I love it. And John Stout loves it. He leads the USHL with a plus 21 rating, followed quickly by his teammate Austin Moline in Madison at plus 16. Matthew Desiderio of the Fighting Saints, plus 15. Alexander Rybakov in fourth with a plus 14 rating. Teddy Mulgrave, fifth with plus 13. And then 4 skaters around the USHL at a plus 12 rating. These guys are on the ice when their team scores. They're defending goals on their own end, creating offense in the offensive end. It's a big category, in my opinion. And it's a big category that not just do I like, but the netminders around the USHL appreciate their teammates who protect their own end. The USHL goaltending leaders among qualified netminders. That means to this point of the season, a netminder has to have played 360 minutes for their team. Wins, goals against average, save percentage, and shutouts. Alan Lendak and Marvin Strahl, the back-to-back USHL, Melvin Strahl, the back-to-back USHL goalie of the week, tied up at the top with 10 wins. Jan Shostak, Caleb Heil, Jan Spoonar, and Gavin Moffitt, they round out the wins category. Shostak has 9, Heil, Spoonar, and Moffitt all with 8. In the goals against average category, it's Shostak at the top with a 2.09. Then a pair of Lumberjacks, Shika Gadziev, 2.16, and Stephen Peck, 2.19, who's tied up with Strahl. And then Alan Lendak and Gavin Moffitt round out the category. Peck leads the USHL with a .929 save percentage. Spoonar, .922. 2 goalies that we could see play against each other this weekend in Week 11. Gavin Moffitt, Shostak, Gadziev, and the Omaha Lancers' Cameron Hendrickson round out the save percentage category. And then no shutouts in the USHL this past week. I know it's a travesty, but made my job easier. The graphic stays the same in that category. Shostak, he leads the USHL net-minding crew with 3 shutouts this season. It's been a phenomenal year for goal scoring, but it's been an even better year for goaltending. We go back to that Ryan Sykes article, a writer for Flow Hockey and the Hockey News, and he talked about the goaltending this year in the USHL being so phenomenal. Ryan Sykes, if you're not giving him a follow, go on to Twitter and give him a follow. Does a great job covering the USHL and showcasing a lot of the really, really great talent and great players and personalities we have around the USHL. But that's Week 10. Goaltending was good. Goal scoring was great in Week 10. I keep going back to that Madison-Sioux City series. What do we have in store for Week 11? Well, 4 straight days of hockey. That's what we have in store. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. All holiday weekend long. You know, by Saturday, you're going to be sick and tired of your family. You're going to have a belly full of turkey. You're going to sit on the couch. You're going to turn on Flow Hockey and watch some USHL action. Well, when are you going to do that? We'll tell you. The Week 11 schedule presented by Flow Hockey. Wednesday, we have 4 games going on around the USHL. Thursday night, sit around the table, talk to your family for what you're thankful for, and watch the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders take on the Waterloo Blackhawks at Young Arena in part of some Dupaco Cowbell Cup action. On Friday night, the Bucks pay a visit to the NTDP. The Muskies take on the Stampede, a battle of Siouxland, while the Fighting Saints and Lumberjacks kick off their 2-game weekend set. Omaha is in Fargo, and Tri-City is in Green Bay. Then on Saturday, the Bucks make the trip east to Youngstown to take on the Phantoms at the Covelli Center, while the Fighting Saints and Lumberjacks close their 2-game weekend series. Omaha is in Sioux Falls. Madison takes on the Chicago Steel at the Fox Valley Ice Arena in Geneva, Illinois. The Muskies take on the Lincoln Stars, while the Blackhawks and Rough Riders, they close out their weekend set. They play on Thursday and Saturday. And then the Tri-City Storm and Green Bay Gamblers, they close their 2-game weekend series. A lot of great hockey coming up on the USHL. And before we call it a night, I got to say I'm very thankful for you, the viewers, not just of the U Show, but the fans all around the USHL. You're the reason why we get to do what we do, why we get to play in the USHL, why we get to cover the USHL. It's all because of the fans at home. So thank you. I'm very thankful for you. I hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving. Get some good turkey, maybe a little bit of ham if that's what your family does. And jellied cranberry sauce is better than the chunky cranberry sauce. That's a fact. Enjoy your Thanksgiving dinner. Enjoy Week 11 in the USHL. We'll see you next Tuesday at 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central for the U Show. Week 11 right here on YouTube Live. Happy Thanksgiving.